Hi, Gary here. You know, there was this rock star, David Lee Roth, who played for a band called Van Halen. And back in the early 80s, they had these really thick contracts. First one's with them. And in the middle of the contract, it said, put a bowl of M&Ms backstage with no brown M&Ms. And everybody thought there was some trickster, childish thing that they were doing. But as it turned out, it was all about safety and security. They were bringing in these 18 tractor trailers of equipment, and it was a very complex setup, and they had to make sure every line was being done completely so they didn't have a problem. They didn't have a big mistake. And you know, when you look at your own life, and you've probably made some big mistakes, hopefully with small amounts of money or other things, but it really comes down to trying to avoid these things. Now, in a recent book by the Heath brothers called Decisive, Chip and Dan Heath, they really go through how does this actually happen? What are the things we can avoid? And they really look at 4 particular areas that we have problems with. First is confirmation bias. You know, we're convinced about something. We find all the information that supports our position, our theory, our hypotheses. Second, we have an emotional reaction to something very quickly. We just feel like we got to do something, and we do it without much decision. It can lead to a bad decision. We get blinders on. You know, we're so focused on something over here, and just outside our view, right over there, is the actual answer, but we just go running right by it. And then finally, we have overconfidence. We're just so confident that this is the right decision, and we don't even give it any mind, and we make a big mistake. So how can you avoid that? You know, what can you go through? Especially, you know, you've built up all this nice wealth over time. You got a lot of family issues, things with children and grandchildren, decisions along all sorts of boundaries that all kind of back into money eventually. Well, the first thing is to widen your options. What I mean by that, you know, every big decision is not just like an on and off switch. You know, you're really going to go out and just kind of back off from it and really look at multiple other ways to approach the particular decision. Second, you want to really have a reality test, you know, that your assumptions here. So, you know, what is that all about? Again, that's confirmation bias. Making sure you're just not confirming things you believe to be true and just looking for that information. The third thing to do is to attain distance before you decide. Now, when you're attaining distance, you're really stepping way back, and you're allowing yourself to be free of all emotions and to really detach yourself from it. It's very hard to do, but that's a really great way to be able to get that next step. The final one is prepare to be wrong. Now, one of the things you can do is, you know, bookend. You know, I've spoken to many people over the years about selling a particular stock and putting a sell price above and below to make sure you just don't fall into that trap of wishing for a lot more or hoping it'll go back up if it goes down a lot. You know, really trying to put some tripwires in there and things like that that will help you to prepare to be wrong. Even though you didn't think you're going to be wrong, but to make sure it takes place. The bottom line here is seek advice. Ultimately, people around you can help you. Certainly, you can come to your advisors, your attorney, your accountant, your wealth advisor, someone else you trust to help you think through that big decision. And then you're making it with that full view of coverage to be able to avoid making that big mistake. And that's really, in life, many times what it's all about. And David Lee Roth really understood that by no brown M&Ms, and it worked really well for them. So until next time, enjoy.